84 ya makwa baba Likee TV na message ne da ba channel isu a hit andoma ne subscribe na like na share ma wona pensemi bi atie so enye bi entie na message obegibre ni adaje ne borra ensem nim na ensem enedai abetomu no yedi ni nyina ebremo na ye borra ma atifo ensem ne de anu den pop yeda yenka bi hye yesore ya eye Syria Pamela crunching Judicial Secretary no so resign. Yes, and it's too much. What prehuntem do resign say? And meaning is it because of Torkornoo suspension inti one person on so ebia and semni bi ba baleno there be my mino resign and wa resign muhwehwem wa resign tem do too much. Say ye bowra ho no nso ye scrutinize no ebia onso ne ho bon sembim na on pese ye bedan ne to edi nti na ebia onso intente wa resign there be my men resign my men ye mfa one man no resign na wa resign do ya je resignation letter no but ye behwehwe ne emem ho secretary position ho no because panyin no e kana ketwa no wa ase no so no onso could be say onso waka ho bi wo resign tem no ano den da bi nyanto wase ne hwehwe woni me wansa na ne oba resign or resign ye mumram na yenti for twaso ye ba de aka no ye de emo ensem bebremo.
There's a reason why judges should be there. They have been trained with the capacity of being the last arbiters in issues relative to our jurisprudence and our social construct. So I think, I may vary that, but maybe we should have a nice debate. Each pepper is a fantastic brain, and it's a very engaging person. We should have a debate for it. I don't agree with Amaliba that everything should be put public right from start. No. You see, people are going to spew things. It's not every allegation, even when true, may be considered meritorious enough for the removal of such officers. It's not even when true. It depends on the gravity of that allegation. But when it becomes a matter of massive public discourse, it may also bring into question the moral standing or the competence of the image of whichever officer, in this case the CJ's image, into question, even if she has to stay in there. The deliberations may bring certain things that, even though there may not be basis for removing anybody, may make the public question the dignity of her person in that office. All right, so we haven't removed you, but we have actually taken the shoes off your feet, under your feet. So I think that, and the other last one, which I think is more important, is to also minimize the prejudice that the committee may be faced with as a result of our public discourse. Do we need to have our public discourse practically prosecuting the matter heavily out here? You're a lawyer. They say when the matter is in court or something, there's a limit to which we can have a conversation. But when you make these petitions public, the conversations will be deep. You can't even control it. And it can influence the thinking and the independence of the people who have to oversee it. So I think that this system has to really be protected. I saw that the presidency had protected it. I was very disappointed when I saw the actual petitions out. And I also saw her responses out. I'm convinced who did it, but I won't say. And people think that it is another way to try and arm twist the process. It's not fair. You're not being fair to the woman, neither are you being fair. So you read the petition right now. Many of us can easily make quick conclusions. You understand? Which was not right. I think that it should have public sympathy. You won't get it. You won't get it. It wasn't wise. It wasn't wise. It wasn't wise. Those who did it should bow their heads in shame. Besides breaching a certain sense of responsibility that comes with the privileges that they have had, they haven't helped the Chief Justice. I don't know. It's very dumb for anybody to think that this thing coming out has helped the Chief Justice. It hasn't. It's actually even made many people just conclude, I know where to pin you down. It's over. If people cannot come back and make nonsense out of this obvious fact, then you're in trouble. it wasn't wise. But let's protect this process. For certain offices, it is not just the legal standing. It also comes with a certain aura that the public must extend to you in reverence and in submission and in honor. When we make these processes too public, it becomes a problem. It becomes a problem. Even when they survive, they can't.
Well, but the law is clear. It shouldn't be public. Whoever made it public, obviously.
But it's public, so we can discuss it.
Indeed. But I'm saying that whoever made it public, you are questioning the impact it would have. But the law is quite clear on what the process should be, you know, going forward. But then again, it is due process that is at play. That is cannot be questioned at any point.
Look at the statement from the Ghana Bar. But now I can see that my brother is around. But I think that today we have to find Eduji for not being here. He has abandoned his brother.
He has good reason.
Because of him, I knew where my fully high. Because I wanted to join him in our board.
There was an emergency situation. You know, he has to deal with other equally important
matters. 2 bottles. That's all. Nothing else. Just 2 bottles is fine.
Okay,
all right, let's look at what Uncle Sam said. I found it quite. He's a politician, so we have to respect that. You don't accrue excessive expectations of statesmen when they are politicians. You respect their statesmanship, but also acknowledge the fact that they are politicians. So you shouldn't always think that they have to be politicians. He admits clearly that no process has been reached. Last week, we were properly schooled, and it was well articulated by Eduji. Nobody questioned it. Every single NDC, MPP, lawyer, parliament, the sound ones. You have everybody, nobody questions the process. The question as to whether it's politically motivated or not is moot. The woman hasn't carried herself in any way that she will become a friend or be loved by the NDC. But the NDC too will not be able to remove her unless they have a basis to remove her. And in this case, the NDC hasn't filed any petition. The president has just been following the process. You have 31 people sitting at the Council of State. Not 2, not 3, not nominees of the president. 31. I wish the results of the prima facie vote on that whole thing comes out. Well, from my understanding, there was only one dissent.
Some of them were nominated by the president.
But some. Yes. I said some. But the president did nominate everybody. You understand? In any case, there was a dissent. A dissent even coming from what I hear from an appointee of the president. You understand? You have 31 people there, and the 31 people don't have brains enough to be able to tell whether there's prima facie or not. Or they are so dumb and weak, they are malleable, politically malleable, that the president can ambush 31 people whose jobs are already secured in a government which just has only one term. Please, let's give people respect. The process should be respected. The president is respecting the process. If there's a case, there's a case. If a policeman wants to catch you and you don't cross the red light, he can't catch you. If he says, give me a fire extinguisher, and you have it, he can't catch you. If your reflectors are there, your light says, he can't catch you. The worst he can do for you, with you, is just waste your time by making you park and he can't catch you. If your reflectors are there, the worst he can do for you, park and results will show, but constructively, it hasn't worked. She hasn't worked well. If 52% of Ghanaians from the Global Info Analytics are telling us that they want the Chief Justice out, and it's only 20% who oppose the idea. Only 20% who oppose the idea. 52%, and these 52% were not even privy to any information about her impropriety. It means that their perception and observation, experiential assessment of her management is suboptimal.
Well, some also hold the view that that's the down part of this survey, that to the extent that the people were responding to a question without knowing the details of really what they were responding to, but just the perception
I'm a
of
social
it,
scientist.
in its sense, takes a lot away from the integrity of the outcome.
It doesn't.
Why is that?
What it's telling you is that people's perception of her is low. They don't approve her management of affairs by their own experiences and observation. You should remember, when you are in a position of policy, you need to carry the people along. You do not just do things right, but you must be seen to be doing it right. And I'll leave it for the lawyers to quote the Constitution clearly about justice. And it being manifestly, how do I say? I forgot the terminology.
It must not only be seen,
to be done, but
be manifestly seen
to be done. That is the matter. Are people seeing that? They are not. Their confidence and trust in the judiciary is at an all-time low. By the Afrobarometer report, 13%. 13%. My brother, please, do they have to come and show what's the basis of? That is their view. That is their expectation. That is their assessment. We are not in a good place as far as our judiciary is concerned. And the fact that the MPP made that particular statement, I was very disappointed. And I think that the MPP, I keep saying it, this is not the MPP of Darucha. This is not the MPP of J.H. Mensah. When you make arguments, they should be potent. We lose to sit up and want to hear J.H. Mensah Bosuje speak. What are we seeing now? Please. You know your president talking, women. A woman jump. The women in our country, are they dump? When they went to vote, were they dump? You think they can't see? When we have women here, when we're doing Charlotte was here? When Justice Georgina Wood was Chief Justice, did anybody? You think they can't see? When we have Justice when Sophia Kufu, please, let's allow the processes to go through. Whether it was motivated by politics or not, if you haven't committed a crime, you won't be caught. If it is not politically motivated and you've committed a crime or you've breached trust, you must go. Laurel Lanty, it was her own party. Her own party. MPP people went to file a petition. The person who appointed her followed the process. It's the same human being today. He followed the process and he fired her. He fired her. Couldn't we have said that, look, she should have just moved to a rented place and maybe say we'll ask her to just refund a part of the money? But she exercised very bad judgment and she had to go. And I support the fact that she was fired. I support the petitioners of the time. And anybody who has a petition, if you have a sound argument, you must be supported. If your argument is not sound, it shouldn't be supported. The first one by Kwaku Azan, I saw the president's submissions. And I said that the president, former President Nanado, was right. Even though I'm not a fan of the Chief Justice, but his response to Kwaku Azan was right. How do you initiate a process being public when you know they're supposed to be in camera? And you're a lawyer. He didn't handle it well, in my opinion. His petition, in my opinion, and I respected Akufo-Addo's position. This process, John Mahama has handled it very well. And we should commend him for respecting it. Another comment. It is false for anybody to say that this thing is an attack on our democracy. It is ill-informed for anybody to suggest that this process is changing, is marring the image of our country in the light of any foreigners. How many of you, the people talk, how many of them are engaging actively with foreign businesses today? Please. People respect the fact and actually impressed. Investors are impressed by the fact that His Excellency the President is respecting processes in the law. He's following the law. He's not exercising arbitrariness. That is what my eyes are open. At any point in time, His Excellency the President exercise any form of arbitrariness will be part of the people leading the charge for his impeachment. But he hasn't.
To lead the charge to impeach the president.
Of course, if he doesn't follow the process, why shouldn't he follow the process? What is his mandate? And he's following the process, so you should commend him. You don't go around attacking him and suggest that the confidence in the... Please, Justice Torkornoo is not the judiciary. She occupied an important role in our government and in our judiciary. She's not the only one with the capacity to do it. Our judiciary has been moving. She's even not the most experienced in our judiciary. You have the likes of Senior Jamefe and co. Who have been at the bench longer than anybody. Where are they being kept up to now? I don't know our appeal court. Please.
Well, let me acknowledge the president and say, hold on a bit for me. Sevia Kuji speaks for the Ghana Bar Association. I know they are at a crucial meeting of the Bar Association as we speak, but he stepped out to speak to us. Council, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Lawyer Sevia Kuji, good morning. We'll try to raise him back on the telephone. He was having some difficulty joining us on Zoom, but we would find alternative means. But Lawyer Martin Pebo, now this particular call by Professor H. Kesi Prempeh, that's where I want to bring you in on. Lawyer, can you hear me? Hello, Lawyer Martin Pebo, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Now, Professor H. Kesi Prempeh's appeal or the call is that, at the minimum, the findings and outcome of the proceedings, including the grounds and supporting evidence behind the removal petition of the Chief Justice, must be made public after the fact. Is the call that you support?
Absolutely. You know, the reason is that, you know, we are democracy. And so transparency too is very key in a thriving democracy. You'll find a number of Supreme Court decisions that talk about transparency, probity, accountability, etc. It's even in Pebble number 2 versus Attorney General number 2. So the Supreme Court says these are the hallmark, okay, of our democracy. So in other words, these are the pillars that hold our democracy together. So it would be odd to have a decision that remains a secret. And I don't think actually the president intends to do that. Because you remember when the Charlotte Osei matter came, at the end of them, the decision was released. We read it publicly, the procurement breaches, etc. Right? So we knew exactly what caused Charlotte Osei's removal. So in the same vein, and remember, Charlotte Osei was also removed under Article 146. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing, like the same key. About the ball, the chiro, right? Mm-hmm. Yes. So the same thing.
But,
right?
But how do you respond to that, the argument that in the case of Charlotte Osei, really she wasn't suspended? Obviously, the then President Nana Akufo-Addo did not exercise that discretion of suspension because, in his view, it wasn't politically wise to do so.
Well, what we should say is that in law, no two cases are the same. No two cases are the same. So for me, to the extent that we've not seen the prima facie determination, we've not been able to read the Council of State advice to the president and how the president wrote the prima facie determination, it's impossible for me to criticize the president on that score. You see, what we need to look at is that, even going by some of the allegations, remember that we are talking about the Chief Justice, okay? The most senior judge in the country. And you know, in the courts of law, we hold the highest standards, probity,